Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mental Magic 3 of the new season 2023. Now there's a lot of channels out there, a lot of videos, thousands of them, that cover the law of attraction. It's endless, really. Now the difference with this one is this book was written in 1907 by an author that introduced me to all of this, all of the ancient teachings, perennial philosophy, theosophy, all of it. So much so that I just started to voice his texts, and that's how this entire channel was born. It gave birth to Living Theosophy. Now, the original book that started everything is the 14 Lessons in Yogi Philosophy and Oriental Occultism, written down by Yogi Ramacharaka. Through some research, I found out that that was a pen name of William Walker Atkinson. He has lots of them. We talk about that in other videos here. Now, he says here, to all of the students of mental magic, the secret of mental magic, he says, to all of you, I send a message of good cheer, of courage, and self-confidence. You are centers of power, of the great ocean of universal power. Realize this truth, and you will have attained that which you seek, that you have attracted. You have attracted this book and this video to you. The law has sent it to you. Use it. And as it brought you this and these, it will bring you that which you desire so ardently. Also, in his basic statement here in this book, he says, there exists a universal dynamic principle of life, pervading all space, immanent in all things, manifesting in an infinite variety of forms and life, and energy or force. And the essential inner nature of this universal principle is mind. It is thought. The energy or force of that principle is no respecter of people. Anybody can use it. Its services are open to all, and it operates in response to the proper effort, which we're going to learn here, no matter by whom it may be exerted or for what purpose. The proper effort must be exerted consciously or unconsciously, or otherwise it's not going to work. There's going to be no operation of the forces. I've also shared here some of the earlier lessons in my own experience with the law of attraction, the law of assumption, manifesting. I've shared that, and oh my God, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't realize that we are using this every day in every way in all that we do with our own daily monotonous mental narrative. It is making and creating our worlds. I also wish to express my sincere understandings of where you may be in this isn't working, I don't see it, this is BS, the feelings of fear, of longing, of loss, of pain. One quick thing I will say here is another quote from William Walker Atkinson is thoughts are living forces. We need to choose them wisely. And the emotions that accompany those thoughts, like the rudder of the boat, sometimes they too stay on a relentless loop. Are you listening here? I am you. I've done this. Listen, they stay on a relentless loop. It's obsessive thinking, and it's sometimes called anxious attachment. Now, we're saying, I don't have it, I need it, I don't have it, I need it. And that's exactly what you are calling into being, the I don't have it. So, okay, you don't have it. I need it, okay? Well, you're going to get more need. You're going to get more need and lack. I highly recommend the beautiful methods explained by Michael A. Singer and Dr. David R. Hawkins, as they perfectly explain how you can navigate through that horror and let go so you can get out to the other side. Because until you do, until you stop that deeply, it's an obsessive longing. If you don't stop that, you're going to be creating and bringing back nothing but more longing, more pain, and more loss because of those thoughts and emotions. So I can cover more of that here if you wish, because I lived it with you, okay? Be careful what you wish for, because you will get a version of what you're doing it right now. You're creating your life right now. So whatever it is you are thinking about, whatever you're here to manifest, how will it make you feel once you get it? For most of us, it's happiness, security, safety, love, whatever the outcome, start there. Forget how it's going to happen. Go to the end. Go to like 30 years past you getting it of I remember when. The law of attraction gurus talk about this, but listen, it's so true. Long after you have manifested the money, the job, the phone call, the relationship, go there. Long afterwards, go to that feeling of I'm okay with it. I'm almost kind of tired of it. Go there and don't worry about the how it's going to come to be, because that's usually where we stay in that very first part of the manifestation. We're thinking of how it's going to get from our lack to having it. We need to know how it's going to happen, having it, and then we stay right there. Go past that, way past it. Start at 6 months past it. Oh yeah, that's right, before we had this house. Anyway, I got to deal with all the mortgage and the taxes and all that kind of stuff. Go past it. That's really important. That's my own experience. And also, if I would have controlled and focused my thoughts better, I probably would have manifested a healthier outcome. I was still in chaos there. So Atkinson is just one of many, many people who have explained thought power, mental magic through the millennia. He was writing at the beginning of the 19th century. This is the Edwardian era. So please know that in theosophical or new thought texts, the term race, which I've taken out of these books, the term race means a wave of humanity, a wave of being. It does not mean ethnicity. I'm not going to fight about this with you. I get comments all the time about that. Okay? They're writing in the time period that they're in, so don't freak out. We are on page 24 now, and I'm massaging Atkinson's text so it flows easier for me to say. I'm not changing the context, but I am changing some of the 1900s words, okay? So he's starting with, it's too late to deny the facts. He writes, the time has come for when the public should know about the great force underlying the phenomena of mental magic. People should be instructed regarding this force, its laws and operation, its intelligent and proper use, with the directions designed to protect people against its improper use against them on the part of others. It's very important. This is a very important matter in these days of occult and psychic investigation on the part of the public and the attempted greedy and selfish uses which some are putting the occult and mental forces of nature to. So note from me right here, this is me, humans are selfish. We're selfish. This force, this law has been used and is being misused for the corrupt and selfish purposes. It's happening all the time. It is too late to deny or ignore the existence of this mighty mental force in nature that underlies the various forms of phenomena that form outward phases of mental magic, good and bad. Too much has been witnessed by the public concerning these matters for them to be hushed and say, it's only your imagination. Many people say that. They still do. On the one hand, they have witnessed the various treatments of the healers tending towards the cure of disease, the attainment of success, etc. And on the other, they have heard whispers of unfavorable treatments, etc. Or they've heard or read the various courses in hypnotism or mesmerism, etc., etc. And they have seen evidences of the good and bad effects of what has been called suggestion or affirmations in all of its forms. And they're beginning to realize that all of these things, as different as they may seem, have one common root in common, a natural force. They are demanding to be shown what this is, and they have a right to demand this. A mighty power of good or evil. Humans have always recognized the existence of a mighty force of nature which man has employed, consciously or unconsciously, in the direction of influencing his fellow men, other forms of life, and even the so-called lifeless things around him. In the earlier days, the use of this force was called magic, black and white, mystical art, divine power, miracles, fascination, charming, enchantment, wonderworking, necromancy, etc. And in its more base and evil uses, it's called black art, witchcraft, sorcery, voodooism, hexism, etc. For it must be remembered that this great force of nature is capable of darkness as well as noble use. Like any other natural force like electricity or explosives or steam, and even X-rays can be misused. This great force is capable of the highest and most beneficial uses by man when properly applied. And it's also capable of being applied to the most harmful purposes. As different as the results are arising from the varied applications, the force is the same in each case. The forces of nature are not possessed of a sense of good and evil. Their function and purpose is to act in obedience to the laws of their nature without regard to the question of good or evil and who's using this force. Okay? It's important. This may seem a terrible thing, but you will be pleased to know that it is true of all natural forces, and the question of good and evil and its reward or punishment belongs to another plane of life. And he says here, ignorance is no protection. But it may be asked, why do I wish to inform the public, he's saying this, about this force unknown to many, which is capable of evil as well as good? The answer is simple. Ignorance is no protection against anything, for the knowledge is always possessed of the few who may use it on those who don't know without their knowing it. The more publicity, the more we talk about this, the better it is understood. The better its good effects can be obtained, and the less the danger of its improper use. Forewarned is forearmed, he says. Now, if a thing is good, the more publicity given to it, the greater the good. If it is evil, the brighter the searchlight turned upon it, the less danger there is. The danger of all evils lies in the darkness of concealment, not in the daylight of publicity. Turn on the light has always been the watchword of progress and civilization, and more particularly is this so at this time in history, when the interest in occultism and similar subjects has made a number of people acquainted with the force known as mental magnetism, and has acquired them with its uses under various names and theories. And in many cases, it is being practiced upon those who are unfamiliar with the subject. It's happening right now. And many who don't know what's going on, you need to know what's going on. Therefore, it's time that we should turn on the light, he says, that it may be seen by all of humanity and be known for what it is. It is capable of all the good and all the evil that we can possibly think of. It's a great force of nature. He writes here, the bane and the antidote. And with this explanation of it goes the remedy and the protection against improper use, as well as the knowledge of its wonderful proper potential. If it be a bane, which is a scourge, then here's the antidote. But it is not necessarily a bane any more than steam, electricity, or explosives are a bane to mankind. They can be used for good, or they can be used for evil. What would be thought of people who suppress knowledge of all natural laws because of a possibility of improper use? Ignorance is no protection just because you don't know. It's not going to help you. You need to know. Truth and fact must be followed to the end, and it will be discovered that nature, every force that may be possible of hurtful use, may be guarded against by natural means. And then here he writes the coming of the Superman. So much for the unpleasant side, he says. No, there is a very pleasant side to this subject of mental magic. This force has come to man just when it needs it most. Mankind has a so-called mechanical force to clear away obstacles that nature puts into our way in order for us to develop, and now humanity turns to higher forms of energy and work, and we are crying for new worlds to discover. And these new worlds will be discovered and explored by mind rather than muscle. Great things are before our current wave of humanity, and one of the greatest forces in nature in the work of building of the Superman, your higher abilities, your natural inner abilities, these latent abilities, will be brought forth by mental magic. By it, we will be enabled to fight off the forces of ignorance and materialism and draw our self-knowledge from the universal mind, the universal consciousness that will enable us to accomplish what was up until this very day completely impossible. Remember, this force is called Kriya Shakti. It's thought power, mental magic. It is not to be used if what you are looking to manifest belongs to someone else, or if what you are looking to manifest will cause harm to another being. Be careful and wise with what you wish for, because this works. It works. And so what I do every week, we read a little bit of this book written down by William Walker Atkinson. I do respect his work. I know that it's written in a time that some of the language would be confusing. This is written 120 some years ago. Yeah. A long time ago, all right? The world was different then. I translate it a little bit into the language of today, but I do not change the context. If you are here, it's not by accident. You can create the life that you desire. Please use this force, this natural law wisely, and use it once you get your life in order to help all beings on this planet, because that's what this latent ability, this latent power is there for. I love you, and I'll see you next week.